This company once controlled the world. Not a part of it, not a segment of it. The entire world belonged to them. If you owned a phone in the early 2000s, there's a high chance it was made by Nokia. They didn't just lead the market. They utterly and completely dominated it. Over 40% of all mobile phones on Earth happily carried their very name. And then they suddenly disappeared. Not slowly and not quietly, but in a way that shocked an entire industry. And what was the most dangerous part? The warning signs were there all along. But Nokia didn't start with phones. It all started with paper, then rubber, then cables, then electronics. Many decades passed by in history until it found its place in telecommunications. In the 1990s, something shifted. Mobile phones were becoming essential, and Nokia saw this early on. While all their competitors hesitated, Nokia moved extremely fast indeed. Nokia focused on one thing: simplicity. Phones that literally anyone could use. Phones that truly lasted forever. Phones that simply didn't fail. Then came the devices that changed everything. The legendary and iconic Nokia 3310. The massive global Nokia 1100. Hundreds of millions of units sold. And then something powerful happened. A feeling of deep trust. People really didn't question Nokia. They heavily depended on it. At its peak, Nokia controlled over 40% of the global market, almost half of the entire world. Inside Nokia, internal confidence grew. Then their confidence became certainty, and that certainty became blindness. Because while Nokia was perfecting durability, the world was beginning to change. Consumer technology was rapidly evolving. Faster, smarter, more powerful. Phones were no longer just tools. They were rapidly becoming platforms. Then, in 2007, everything changed. There was no physical keyboard. Instead, a full touchscreen experience. A complete ecosystem of apps. Inside Nokia, the reaction was calmly dismissive. They were highly dismissive of the threat. They had seen competitors come and go. They believed this was no different. But they were completely wrong, because this wasn't just a new phone. It was an entirely new direction. Nokia now faced a critical choice: adapt to a changing world, or protect what had made them successful. Ultimately, they chose protection. They held on to the past. They stayed with systems that were already falling behind. And while the market moved fast, Nokia moved far too slowly. The developers followed the opportunity, and opportunity was no longer with Nokia. The consumers quickly noticed the difference. These new devices just felt better. They were smoother and much more intuitive. Even their loyal users began to leave. Inside the company, things became complicated. Too many teams, too many decisions. There was simply not enough alignment. Their internal innovation slowed to a halt. But the outside market certainly didn't. Their massive market share fell, and then it fell even faster. And then there came the desperate move. In response, Nokia partnered with Microsoft. It was a very bold decision, but the ecosystem was weak. The users simply didn't adopt it, and developers refused to support it. By then, it was entirely too late. Nokia sold its mobile division and exited the industry it once ruled. However, Nokia didn't completely disappear. Instead, the company transformed itself. Their fall wasn't just bad luck. It was caused by strategic hesitation. They chose to protect their past instead of preparing for the future. And somewhere out there right now, another company is making the same mistake. Which one do you think it is?